And there we go. And here we go. There we go. Batman.
Camera's still me off.
There you are. All right. We kind of doing the robot thing here. Okay. But hey, what's up, everybody? I am back at the Third Floor Comics in Nitro. Tim has invited me back. I had to pay him $2, but it's okay. But we are back, and let me hit the little intro music here real quick. Well, it's not really music; it's a little 10-second thing here, but it is what it is. So here you go. Hold on, just a second here. Bam. All right. So, like I was saying, I am live once again at the Third Floor Comics in Nitro. Thanks to Mr. Tim right here. It's always a pleasure to come hang out with you and your store full of wonderful
junk and stuff.
Yes,
junk and stuff. That's what it is.
You actually that is a good name. Junk and stuff. That would be a good.
We named our Lego section Brick and Brack. So
nothing wrong with that.
Brick, Lego brick and brack.
Right.
So
nothing wrong with that.
No.
Brick and brack. So
it works.
Yeah, absolutely. Let me share this real quick to well, actually I think I got it. I think I got everything already shared. So yes. So what we're gonna talk about today is we got lots of cool things. There is a Thundercats movie in the works. Tim and I will talk about who will be cast as who. There is, let me see what this comment is. Oh, well, thank you. You had the perfect voice. Oh, well, thank you.
His voice makes me queasy. Not queasy. His face makes me melt too.
Yeah, it makes. Yeah, that's right. We have. We're going to talk about the new Thundercats movie that's in the works. I'm excited about that. Talk about who we cast. We got new Loki. Loki's coming out pretty soon. We also have the worst villains in the MCU. We're going to rank. We're going to have we have a list actually that we're going to rank. That's ranked from worst to first. Yeah, I know there's a lot of echo. We'll get that fixed soon. I appreciate it, buddy.
I have really crappy equipment. That's why.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. We'll get that fixed soon. But anyway, we are back live in Nitro. And again, like always, I always try to promote this place, pump it up because it's a very nice store. If you haven't been down here before, come on down. So what is the address?
It is 110 21st Street in Nitro.
With over 100,000
comic books at least. Yeah, we just bought another 40 long boxes last week. That's another 12,000 books. Another 23 long short box on top of that. That's another 6,000 books. We are quickly approaching at least 120,000 books. It's getting a little crazy. So, but fun.
So come on down here if you're interested in comic books. Come down, get you some comics, get you some action figures, get you anything that you could possibly imagine at this place, except for Tim and myself. We are not for purchase.
That's unless debatable, but
Tim might be for purchase, but
anything for $1. $2 is $2.
Right. But anyway, here we go. So I wanted to bring this out first because I'd seen this yesterday, and I want to cut us off here. Let me go find this page. And let me pull this up. Where is it at? Here we go. All right. So there is a story on Yahoo by, I'm going to give the guy credit, Eric Diaz. He has every MCU villain ranked from worst to best. Worst to best. Tim and I were talking about it a little bit before we went live, and just out of curiosity, if I haven't told you the whole list, who do you think is without looking at it, who do you think is the best villain, in your opinion, in the MCU?
Oh, Thanos, of course.
Okay, all right. I'm going to say, Thanos is the obvious choice, but if I have to take Thanos away, I would say I forget her name. I like Thor's sister.
Hela?
Yes.
Hela's a good villain.
Yeah.
Now, are you looking at the list that's on Collider or a different list?
I got a list from Yahoo.
Okay, well, I have a list from Collider, so they might be a little different. I pulled it up just to see.
Well, we'll go.
We'll go with your list.
Okay. So
we can compare and contrast it too. I think they may have stolen it from each other too.
what number 24 is Sonny Birch from Ant-Man and the Wasp. Number 23 is Malekith. I guess am I saying that right? Malekith.
Mm-hmm.
All right. He is from Thor: The Dark World, which, like I said earlier to you, it's pretty. It's at the bottom of the barrel for.
The whole movie seems to be pretty bad, doesn't it?
Yeah, it doesn't beat Iron Man 3, but it definitely is at the bottom of the barrel for MCU movies. A lot of people slam Age of Ultron, but I like Age of Ultron.
I keep saying the worst MCU movie is Man-Thing, which no one's seen it. It's that bad. It went straight to Sci-Fi Channel. It was that bad, and they've eradicated it from the rest of the MCU. It was awful.
Well, there are other Marvel movies that are pretty bad. Some of them are cult. I like Magneto too, Richie. As a matter of fact, Magneto is, as far as just overall in the Marvel movies that have been made, Magneto is probably my favorite. Ian McKellen and the other guy, I can't think of what his name is.
I can't think what his name is.
I like both of them. So, but probably the worst, and I'm not just talking about like the MCU. I'm just talking about Marvel affiliated movies. With Swamp Thing.
Swamp Thing is DC.
Is it Swamp? Oh, sorry. I thought Swamp Thing was Marvel. Which
Man-Thing is Marvel.
Man-Thing is Marvel. Marvel did make G.I. Joe comics.
Yes.
So,
but I can't really consider the G.I. Joe movies as part of the MCU. Though.
Well, I'm not saying it's part of it. I'm just saying just a Marvel related movie.
Yeah. Worst villain or best villain?
I'm talking about just worst movie.
Worst movie?
Just worst movie. I know we were on the villains, but
are we considering the old like Roger Corman Marvel stuff? The old Captain America from the 70s, the Fantastic Four film that's never been released?
Those get a pass because there were just people in tights and it was just bad. It was just bad. The Lou Ferrigno gets a pass. Just because it's bad. It's bad. He is. You don't like Lou Ferrigno?
Stuff is awesome, man.
Spider-Man stuff is pretty bad.
Ferrigno was better in King of Queens than he was as himself than he was on The Incredible Hulk.
His is the best version of the Incredible Hulk there's ever been.
You think so?
Yes.
Oh no, that's awful.
No.
I tried to watch it a few years ago. This is so bad.
Richie says, my buddy Richie says that the Doctor Doom from Fantastic, which honestly, in my opinion, he was the best part of the movie.
He was pretty bad, yeah. Or even the Galactus in the Fantastic Four movies was awful. I mean, turning him into a giant cloud was just horrible. I try to block those movies out of my memory completely. They're all bad.
Now the guy that played Victor Von Doom, he was from the Nip Tuck, right?
Yeah.
That's
Nip Tuck was pretty good.
There's bad earlier stuff that went on. The Punisher movie with Dolph Lundgren, I actually like that. I think it's not bad. A lot of people don't think about it because it came out.
I watched it once or twice. I like the Punisher movie with Thomas Jane. It's actually one of my favorite Marvel movies because it's all kind of tongue in cheek and it's just a fun movie to watch.
Yeah. Now, you're talking about with John Travolta, right?
Yeah.
Travolta was pretty badass. He was pretty slick, but not to lose sight of where I was going. But no, there were some better villains outside of the actual MCU, outside of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Well, you said Doctor Doom was good. The guy from
Yeah.
Nip Tuck, he was good. So, um, but back to the list before I get out in Wonderland. Let me find it here. Walking in the winter wonderland. They've got Ronan the Accuser from Guardians of the Galaxy at 21. Ronan could have been a lot better.
Ronan could have been. Ronan started out good, but he just they always made him a parody of himself. By the time by the time they finish up with Ronan, he's laughable. And he started out as a good villain, but then after Thanos kind of bitch slaps him around a little bit, you see how puny Ronan really is as compared to not Galactus but Thanos.
Thanos, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he is like you said. He starts out badass. They're putting the helmet on him, and he's putting the eye black, and smashing the guy's head, and the blood's dripping, all that other stuff. And then by the end of the movie, he's just kind of weak. He's kind of the Starscream to Megatron. Is basically what it was, and it was. They could have done him more justice than that.
Yeah, they could have left him. They could have left him as a big bad. I think they. I don't like what they did with Ronan at all.
Yeah, he deserved more justice than that. You can't have a guy that he just looked awesome.
Yeah.
And he was kind of like Gladiator like, I guess you would say. And you got the end of the movie and Quill's singing the song, and he'd ask him, "What's I'm distracting you."
I tell you what, it just hit me what he by the end of the movie, he reminds me of Death in Bill and Ted. It's always had that. There's always been something in the back of my head until just now. It just occurred to me. By the end of the movie, he reminds me of Death, Bill and Ted, completely.
You're absolutely right. Looks wicked, looks badass, but is pretty weak. Pretty weak. Number 20 on this list is Aldrich Killian from Iron Man 3. I could live my life without Iron Man 3.
I've watched it once, then quit. I mean, when they pull the little boy into that story, it's just like, come on. Why? Why do we do this?
I've seen it, and I paid so little attention to it that I don't even know why he was in Tennessee. It was Nashville, wasn't it? I don't even know why he was there.
I've watched it. I don't remember. It just really.
It was bad. It was one of those deals where you're signed to this contract. We really don't have much for you to do because there are bigger movies to come. Let's just throw something together, get it out there.
That is one of the movies. Every Marvel movie, or most Marvel movies, there's a little piece of the bigger picture. Even like the Ant-Man and Wasp movie, everyone thought it was just a placeholder, and it turned out that there's a little piece of that made sense in the bigger picture.
Mm-hmm.
Iron Man 3, I'm not sure what the little piece was. It just, like I said, it's just a placeholder. We've got you in a 3-movie contract. We've got to get something out of you. Let's put this here and tug at the heartstrings and whatever you got to do whatever you have to do to sell popcorn, do it.
Right. I mean, honestly, I think that, and I'm trying to remember if Thor: Dark World had anything to do, any lead up.
That I don't remember because that's another movie I watched it once and just kind of like, it's not horrible, but it's not not really worth watching again.
Because Ant-Man and Wasp, of course, it gives way to Ant-Man being the reason for Endgame.
Yeah, it introduces their whole time travel kind of thing, makes it that's the way they kind of save the world, basically.
Right, and without Ant-Man, I mean, none of that is possible. But Iron Man 3, no. Thor: Dark World, no.
Yeah.
Age of Ultron, introduces
Ultron.
Well, not only Ultron, but it introduces Vision. It introduces um, Wanda, Scarlet. Well, they don't call her the Scarlet Witch, but it introduces Wanda. So I mean, it does a lot. And actually, at the end of the movie, you see Sam being trained by Captain America, him and Wanda at the end of the movie. So it does a lot. It does a lot. So, but number 19, Justin Hammer in Iron Man 2. Kind of similar to Cross from Ant-Man. Arrogant.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he was as smart as Cross and Ant-Man.
I liked it. I mean, I kind of forgot about him until you mentioned it. Until you mentioned him, and it starts looking down the list here as well. But I liked him as a villain. He had that edge to him, that arrogant edge to him that you like him to have. I haven't watched Iron Man 2 a whole lot. Yeah, maybe 3 or 4 times.
I like villains that are arrogant. I like villains that their power is just they themselves.
Mhm.
Like I'm going to assume he's on this list too. Like Zemo.
Mhm.
Zemo's arrogant. Zemo, you don't really want to trust him. You don't know what he's capable of. But I should call him Army Hammer. We don't want to do that.
His career's really went weird, hasn't it?
Yeah, his career's pretty much over. Actually, when I first saw him, I said, that's a badass name, Army Hammer. It made me wish my name was Army. Nothing says I will pass like your first name is Army and your last name's Hammer.
Nothing says I terrify women like Army.
Yeah, Army Hammer either. So what? And the funny thing is if you told someone that was your name, they would assume that you were an actor, all right, but probably not. Probably not for Universal Pictures or anything like that.
Probably for
Sorority
what's that company's name?
Right. Yeah, Army Hammer.
Something begins with bang and ends with brothers or something.
Oh goodness.
So I've heard. I don't know.
Right. Number 18's worst MCU villains, worst to best. Excuse me, worst to best. Number 18 from Doctor Strange, Dormammu. Am I saying that correctly?
I think so. Yeah.
Dormammu. That in that part of the movie was really
odd.
Yeah. It wasn't bad, but I just felt they could have done.
He's kind of like the version of Galactus in Fantastic Four. It's you don't see a whole lot of form to it or body to it. It's just I got it, I enjoyed it, but at the same time I'm kind of like,
Yeah,
I mean,
I just
Cumberbatch is a real star of that, hands down. The villains, if I remember correctly, it's been a while since I've seen that one too. The villain just kind of hip scotches away through. You think it's one person, someone else. You think it's one person, think it's someone else, and you get to the end of it, it's really the big bad, and then the solution to the big bad is so unusual that it makes it entertaining.
what they did set it up to where, at least for me as I was watching it, they did set it up to where it looked as if he was going to fight what's her name? The sorceress, the bald lady.
Yeah.
It looked as if that's what they were setting up, like he was going to fight her in the end. Especially when the lies come out about where she was drawing the power from, and I think, okay, she's going to be the not so villain in the end, and maybe reveal herself. And then it turns out in the end he's fighting.
I do have to say the opening sequence on that, with her fighting through the buildings and shifting everything around, moving everything around, that's got to be one of the best opening series sequences on a movie I've seen. Period. I mean, I absolutely loved it. It was just so grabbed you by the pants and took you to the whole car chase or people chase scene forever. And you thought, I should definitely be watching this in 3D. This is fantastic.
Well, it reminds you of was it Inception with Leonardo DiCaprio?
I haven't seen it for a while.
That's what it reminded me of the first time I seen it. I was like, this this type of angles and stuff looks familiar. It reminds you of Inception, which is a very kind of messes with your mind.
Yes.
Number 16 on this list of Yahoo MCU villains worst to best. Number 17, Ivan Vanko. When good old Mickey Rourke. Mickey Rourke, I tell you, he not this season, but last season he was on the Masked Singer.
Was he?
Yes, and I think it was the very first episode, if I'm not mistaken. And I don't remember what it was. He his voice is terrible for singing, and he gets done singing, and they're kind of talking to him about clues and whatnot, and he just says, "Screw it, I'm done. I'm taking this mask off." And he takes the mask, and they're like, "No, you can't do that. You can't do that." So he takes the mask off before anyone gets a chance to vote anybody off.
Yeah.
And he flat out said, I think he was drunk, first of all. He had to have been. He said the only reason he came on the show is because they paid him to do it. So he's I imagine that he blew all of his Iron Man 2 money.
I like Whiplash or Ivan in Iron Man 2. I thought he's a fun villain. I like the villains that are everyday people.
Yeah.
That man should do pretty good. So I like the fact that he's just an everyday guy that replicated Tony's work and turned it into something, not good.
That's what I was going to say right there. And everyday guy that basically became a generic version of Tony.
Mm-hmm.
And he was an everyday guy. He wasn't some kind of monster that was mutated or whatever. Yeah. And he sold the accent pretty well too. He kind of I thought he did a good job.
Is that because he's punch drunk, or is he that good an actor?
He was probably drunk. I'm gonna be honest with you. He was probably sipping the old sauce. Is what he was doing.
He's had an interesting career. Actor, professional boxer, actor, then wrestler, actor. Then he's been around for a while.
Well, the wrestler was supposed to be his big comeback, and he kind of he did Iron Man 2, and then he just kind of just
faded off.
Faded off. The number 16, I'm probably gonna pronounce this wrong, but it's okay. Emil Blonsky, the Abomination from The Incredible Hulk. The Incredible Hulk movie, it always gets left out. Well, one reason it gets left out is because it is owned by Universal.
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, it's owned by Universal, so a lot of people don't even know about it. Number two, people don't know about it is because it has
Banner.
Well, what is his name? Edward Norton as
Edward Norton first. Okay, Eric Banner was one before that. It was
yeah, it has Edward Norton as Bruce Banner.
Yeah.
So, and of course, Mark Ruffalo went on to replace Edward Norton as the Incredible Hulk. So a lot of people don't even know. There's probably people that don't even know that movie exists. I'll be honest with you.
I like that movie actually. I like that one much better than the first Hulk. First Hulk, it's horrible.
Yeah, the first one was bad.
Yeah.
It was on the level of it looked like they made it 10 years earlier and sat on it.
Yeah.
And then never updated the anything on it.
I didn't dislike Tim Roth as email. Who's he turned to? The Abomination?
The Abomination, yeah.
I didn't dislike him as that. It was fun. It was good. It was good popcorn.
Number 15. I'm going to pronounce this wrong too. From Doctor Strange, Caecilius.
Yeah, I always screw these up.
He was okay. He was wasn't the final villain, but he held it down until the end of the movie. He wasn't bad. He Could have been a little better. Number 14, from the Age of Ultron. Ultron. Uh, I liked Ultron. I thought that Spade was good. I'm a voice person, so I like Spades. I like
Yeah.
Spader, James Spader, excuse me. Not David Spade, but James Spader. I like his voice. I think his voice is it's very bad guy.
He's got a unique voice.
Yeah, very, very bad guy. Very bad guy.
Well, he's made a career playing bad guys.
Well, you can just, I mean, you can go back. You're absolutely right. I mean, he was a bad guy. Well, he was the bad guy, well, not a bad guy, but he was a bad. Wasn't he a bad kid in Weird Science? Wasn't it him and Robert Downey? I know Robert Downey was in Weird Science. I want to
Maybe,
say
I don't remember. He played some weird.
Spade was the
Billie Jean or
jerk
something.
in was it 16 Candles, wasn't it?
I don't remember.
Wasn't James Spader in 16 Candles? He was in one of the
I have to look that up. I have to look that up.
What'd you call it movies?
He was in a 90s movie, 80s movie where he played the heavy as a bad kid, but it was like Billie Jean or something weird like that.
He was. I'm pretty sure it was 16 Candles because it was the movie with wasn't John Cryer in 16 Candles?
Yeah, he had a real
Ducky. Yeah, he was Ducky. I want to say that James Spader was the he was the bad guy, and the dude from Weekend at Bernie's was the good dude trying to go out with Molly Ringwald.
Yeah, the movie I was thinking about was Tough Turf.
Tough Turf. I haven't seen
'85. It's fun. Yeah, he's the bad guy in Pretty in Pink. He was the bad guy in Mannequin. One of my favorite films. He was the can't call him a bad guy, but he was an interesting guy in Secretary.
That was right there. Interesting is right. Him and Maggie Gyllenhaal. It was very. It's not for kids. I'll say that.
It is not for kids at all.
No, not for children at all. But the worst MCU villains, worst to best.
But
Number 14.
I wouldn't put Ultron that far down the list as being a bad villain. I really liked Ultron as a villain. I mean, he's a great villain.
He's excuse me. He's one of the few villains that, other than Thanos, is the movie.
I haven't had him.
He is the movie. Number 13. Let me see what we got. Let me scroll back up here. Number 13. MCU villains worst to best. Number 13 is Baron Helmut. Baron Zemo. Of course, in Civil War, he's just Zemo, and they don't attach Baron.
He has been attached as Baron Zemo until back in
yes,
Soldier.
Yeah, he wasn't attached to the name Baron until he showed up in Falcon and the Winter Soldier. And if you don't follow comic books or follow the toys, you probably wouldn't have known who he was to begin with. Yeah. Especially when they didn't give him the name Baron.
Zemo.
Yeah, just Zemo. Which I like him as an actor. I don't know if the show's still on or not. He was on a show on TNT called The Alienist, and it has him.
I have not watched that yet.
And what is her name? Dakota Fanning. Mm-hmm. He plays all right, so it's I believe the setting is like the early 1900s, and an alienist is what they call a doctor who helps people who are mentally ill.
I watched like half the first episode. I couldn't get into it. Jesse loved it. So we passed on it for a while.
It honestly, it honestly is kind of disturbing on some levels if you do not like certain things. Like it deals with pedophilia, and it deals with other things too. So there's a lot of uncomfortable comfortable scenes and topics and things like that. So if you've got a weak stomach or you just don't deal with that, it's not for you. But he's a good actor, and I like the show a lot. I don't know if it'll be season 3 or not, but
I have to jump back into that one again, try it out.
Zemo kicks butt though in the Falcon and Winter Soldier. Number 12, villains in the MCU, best to worst. Obadiah Stane or Stan.
I liked him.
Iron Man.
I liked him a lot, actually. So
You could tell from the beginning that his goal was to push Tony out.
Yeah.
You could tell that from the beginning. And honestly, if you kind of look at it like in real life, I'm sure that there are many cases where that happens. I mean, it'd be like if, let's just say, Jody has been with you here since day one, and you got say something happens to you, and Jake takes over, and he's like, "I've been here slaving away, buddy. You've been off. Yeah, you've been off going to college and doing I don't know what,
wrecking cars and shit.
yeah, wrecking cars. So he wants to take over, isn't that right? Absolutely. He's going to be the Obadiah Stane, or Stan. The number 10 from Captain Marvel, Jan Rog.
He kind of sucked.
I'm not a big Jude Law person.
I haven't liked Jude Law in anything since Gattaca, and I like him in Gattaca. But after that, I've kind of lost interest in him.
I'm not big on male British actors. I don't know what it is. They just sound too
British.
Not that there's anything wrong with that. I mean, I love you some Elizabeth Hurley, and I can handle Hugh Grant just because his accent's not that thick.
What gets me with British actors are the ones that portray themselves as American, as American, and they nail it. And then I hear them speaking with their accent, and it drives me absolutely nuts. Charlie Hunnam, guy from Sons of Anarchy. I mean, his Southern accent's right on. Guy from Walking Dead, his Southern accent's right on. And you hear them speak in an interview, and it's just like, it blows me away.
I should know his name off the top of my head, and I just forgot it. The guy from House.
Yeah.
He's British.
He's British, isn't he? Yeah.
And it freaked me out because I didn't know that. I did not know that. And Hugh Laurie is his name. And the first time I had heard him speak outside of the show House, I went,
yeah.
Well, what's funny is that now he was one of the villains in the live action 101 Dalmatians movie.
Really?
Back in the 90s, yeah. And he had his British accent too. Yeah, he was one of the villains. He was one of the henchmen in that movie. Very weird to see that. It's the same thing for me. It's just an accent period. Like when you hear Nicole Kidman talk.
Mm-hmm.
Because she's been in 100,000 movies and never uses her Australian accent. And then you hear her speak and you're like, whoa.
Throws you completely off.
Yeah. The worst thing with accents, the worst one, and it's confusing, it's annoying, and I wish she'd stop, is Gillian Anderson when she flips back and forth between her British accent and an American accent.
I didn't know she's British.
I think that she was born here as a child, and then they moved over to England, where she was there for I don't know, 4 or 5 years, something like that. And then she came back over here, and then so what's funny is when you see her in interviews, if she's over there during the interviews, she uses her British accent, but when she's over here,
really, it goes back and forth.
Yeah. When we get done, we'll pull that up. It'll freak you out.
I imagine if X-Files, if she played like a British agent on X-Files.
It might have.
Yeah. I'd still be watching it.
Oh yeah. Number 9 MCU villain. Don't let me forget to pull that up for you.
Okay.
Number 9 MCU villains, according to on Yahoo, worst to best. Number 9, and don't forget we're going up to the best. So number 9 is Red Skull from Captain America: The First Avenger, which, by the way, you know that he's the same actor in Endgame, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
They use Hugo in the first one, and the guy from Walking Dead in the second one.
Yeah. Something happened. I can't remember what it was. I don't
think
remember.
Hugo just didn't want to do it again.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mr. Smith wasn't impressed.
Well, you know, he needed he probably tried to bring Keanu on is what it was.
Or he wanted to wear his elf ears or something.
Yeah.
He's actually a great actor.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I love him in in the Matrix. I mean, just love his character. It's so deadpan, so emotionless.
Yeah, absolutely.
Perfect villain there. And I like him as Red Skull. I mean,
well, the only thing about the Red Skull that bothered me is the entire time that I watched it, even me looking at it on the screen now, is that I keep seeing Jim Carrey in Mask.
I can see that. You could probably adjust your color settings on your TV and actually see Jim Carrey on the Mask.
Probably so. You know, and you know when he in the movie, I just kept hearing him say "smoking." Smoking. Number 8, according to Yahoo, the MCU villains worst to best is the Vulture from Spider-Man: Homecoming, played by Michael Keaton.
He's at number 8.
Yeah, and bear in mind, it's not 8 is not like the worst. It's worst to.
I'd say yes. He definitely deserves to be in the top 10. He'd be in the top 5 for me. I actually loved Keaton as the Vulture. Absolutely loved him as the Vulture.
I like the idea that they used an older actor to play such I guess you would say physical villain. Because a lot of times when they use older actors, they really don't do a whole lot as far as like hand-to-hand combat and stuff like that. You know, they've always got some henchmen to do dirty work, and then something will happen. They'll pull the Ric Flair, and then they'll pull their gun or their knife or whatever out.
But they're not Batman.
Hmm?
But they're not Batman.
No, they're not Batman.
I like Keaton again because he was a everyday man.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't start out evil. He didn't start out bad. He didn't start out just wanting to bring ruin into the world. He started out just being an everyday guy that gets kind of screwed over by the heroes and by the government and by society, period. And he gets screwed over by Stark, basically.
Yeah.
He goes with it. He makes the best of a bad situation until he makes a really bad decision or several bad decisions.
Well, him turning heel, him being a villain, it's like you said, there's actually some justification to it.
Yeah.
I mean, you got a guy, like you said, he was working hard, and here they come in and say, we got to shut this down, and hey, I spent all this money to do this, and so he's one of the few villains that is justified by turning heel that way.
He's definitely has good sound logic to it. And I love the fact that Peter got involved with his daughter. It kind of had that real that I guess what word I'm looking for here. The irony, I guess, that Peter's involved with his daughter. And
there was
spoiler alert, by the way.
Hey, it was a conflict of interest.
Most definitely.
Yeah. Conflict of interest. Number 7 on the MCU villains worst to best. Number 7 is Ego, the Living Planet from Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, played by Kurt Russell, which his son is Captain America.
John Walker.
Yeah, John Walker.
I like Ego. I like, I thought he's a great villain. He's fun. I mean, he got his own planet. But again, he's one of those villains. He's super powerful. So for me, that's not as much fun as a everyday villain.
It was still kind of odd for me that you're basically God and someone who is half of what you are, supposedly, is able to defeat you. I was kind of like,
That's comics though.
yeah. My favorite scene is him and when Drax asks him if he has a penis. What did he say? He said, "My mother would hum the most melodic tune, and or his wife or something. He said, tap my foot." Drax was very uncomfortable.
Drax is uncomfortable about everything, which makes him he's awkward.
Yeah,
and everything. All of his lines are awkward, which is what makes Drax a fun character to have.
Very, very so much a fun character. Number 6, worst to best Marvel Cinematic Universe villains. Number 6 is Mysterio from Spider-Man: Far From Home. Another Gyllenhaal that
Jake 7 degrees of Spader.
7. That's right. 7 degrees of Spader. That's right. We go from Maggie Gyllenhaal to Jake. I did not know they were siblings until recently. I don't know why I didn't know that.
That last name didn't cue you in any way.
I mean,
Smith or Jones or.
I mean, how common is Gyllenhaal? I see.
It's like Arnott. You just don't see it very
well. No, it's Gyllenhaal is probably a Swedish name. They're probably Swedish. Is what
what's
they are.
The guy that played it. Sarsgaard or something like that.
I'm not sure.
I mean, there's a whole family of them. They're all actors. They all have that really strange last name. They've got to be related.
Oh, I'm sure. But yeah, I did not know that about Maggie Gyllenhaal and Jake Gyllenhaal. It never put it together. Maggie Gyllenhaal, Jake Gyllenhaal. Never thought about it. He comes in at number 6 for villains worst to best. Mysterio, Spider-Man.
Let's think about this real quick. How many of the Marvel MCU villains are there because of Tony Stark? Ultron is there because of Tony Stark. Mysterio is there because of Tony Stark. Whiplash is there because of Tony Stark. How many Marvel villains are there because Tony Stark has done them wrong sometime in the past? The Vulture's there because Tony Stark screwed him.
Technically, Wanda.
Maybe Iron Man, Tony Stark is actually both MCU's greatest hero and worst enemy.
It's very possible. It's very possible. I mean, he does cause chaos, and I guess if you go clean it up, I guess at the end of the day that's all that matters.
I guess.
There's a category for just plain jerks. Stark would be at the top.
Yeah, absolutely. He would definitely be at the top. Yes, Stark was the cause of a lot of bad.
Yeah.
A lot of bad.
What if when we had the time stone, we go back and remove Tony Stark from time?
So number 5.
just a thought.
You can't remove Tony. I mean that would destroy the whole thing. You know what I find funny is that when you talk to people about the MCU movies and things like that, a lot of females don't like Tony.
Oh yeah, well they either love him or hate him.
Yeah,
they absolutely love him or they absolutely hate him. There's no in between.
No, there's no in between. Although he did grow. He did grow.
Here's a side question: who's the better billionaire hero, Stark or Wayne?
I would say that's a good question.
I mean, on a straight toe-to-toe comparison or fight, they're going to draw. It's going to become a draw. They're both uber intelligent. They're both uber billionaires. They have uber equipment.
I actually thought it's funny that you said. I actually was thinking about just the two of them, how they were very similar because neither one of them has superpowers. Mm-hmm. They just have gadgets, and who would win in a fight? I actually wonder if and I'm not sure which one came out first. Batman
Batman
or
came out long
one before.
time.
So I'm wondering if Iron Man was Marvel's
Answer
response
to
to
Batman.
to Batman, because very similar.
You're very yeah. In the books, Bruce Wayne constantly deals with loss of his parents, and he's in that constant struggle. And they seem to, throughout the years, they've always drawn that parallel between, is he actually a villain or a hero? Does his being a vigilante cause more strife than his being a hero? I'm reading White Knight right now. That's the line it's drawing. The Joker's basically saying, yes, I'm a villain. I had I did bad things, but but Batman's done just as many bad things as being a vigilante, and brought harm to just as many innocent people as I have, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But Stark's inner demons has always been himself. He's his own worst enemy in most of his books. And they brought in the whole alcoholism part of the storyline, and that really showed that Tony had a very human side to him. So kind of a weird comparison of the two, I guess.
Yeah, he's with Tony just looking out for himself causes chaos.
Mhm. But
And he has to go clean it up afterwards.
Yeah. And Tony does, throughout the 80s, he had the better mullet.
Well, yeah.
I don't remember Bruce Wayne ever having a mullet, but Tony definitely rocks the mullet all through the 80s.
Bruce carried himself too. Bruce carried himself too. I a little more the part of a billionaire, in my opinion, than Tony does. Tony was like, he was like a kid with an unlimited credit card, and Bruce was more. He was business, but he was also a smooth ladies man. Tony was more reckless. Tony was like frat boy ladies man. Bruce was
like a little suave.
he was taking you out to nice dinner, and Alfred would take you home when we're done.
But Tony also actually developed relationships with women, good or bad, but he developed relationships with them. And Bruce, the lady part of it was just a facade for something else, for hiding who he really was.
Yeah. Pick your poison.
Okay,
Pick your poison.
moving on.
Number 5, Hela from Thor Ragnarok. I thought Kate Blanchett was awesome at that. If I didn't know that was her prior to the movie coming out, I would have never guessed that was her.
No.
And I thought that the moment that she burst on the scene and Thor and Loki on Earth, and she comes up and she says, "Oh, I'm back from love," blah 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 blah, and then Thor throws the hammer and she catches it, and just crushes it. I was like, "Oh yeah,
it's on."
Oh yeah, oh yeah. So she's one of my favorite villains from the MCU. There,
definitely deserves to be in the top 5.
Yeah. Number 4, I honestly don't know about this right here. I think this villain is cool, but I don't know about being in the top 5. But Agatha Agnes Harkness,
Really,
from WandaVision, they have ranked number 4.
Is she in the top 4, in the top 5 because she's the newest, freshest villain, or because she's a top 5 villain?
I would say because she's new and fresh.
Yeah, I mean, she was enjoyable.
Yeah, I thought. Let me get her name right here, because even though I've seen her in 1,000 things, small and big, I actually never knew what her name was. Catherine Hahn, funny as can be, and her playing this character really just blew me over the top, because I would have never thought of her playing something on that level, because she's always doing like comedies, and even before she turned into Agatha, she was
she's like the comedy relief for them.
Yeah, she was the Catherine Hahn that I've seen in what's the movie she was in with Jennifer Aniston and where they go to Mexico to get the drugs? We're the Millers.
Oh yeah.
She was in We're the Millers.
Yeah, she played the opposite of what's his name?
The guy from
Parks and Rec.
yeah, she was his wife.
Swingers.
Yeah, Swinger. That's right. And she was funny, and you would never really think that she could pull something off like this, but that just goes to show how good of an actress that she really is. And I thought the character was great. Hopefully somehow they can bring her back. I don't know.
That was a good character. She pulled it off great. I'm debatable whether she's in the top 5 or not.
Yeah, I'm gonna say that as well. I think if I liked WandaVision, I liked it because I knew what it was doing. If I didn't know what it was doing, I'd be like, yeah, we're good. Yeah, I can't watch this. But I knew what it was doing. It was introducing characters. But I don't know. Top five,
Tough one on that one.
Yeah, I don't know. Number 3, Eric Killmonger from Black Panther.
Yeah, I'd say he's definitely top 5 material. I'm aggravated that they killed him off the end of it.
Because it kind of screwed stuff up.
Yeah. Supposedly they're supposed to bring him back in some way for Black Panther 2. I'm not sure how they're going to. It's comic books, it's comic movies. They'll figure out something. But supposedly he has a role in that play, whether it's flashbacks or resurrection or what. I'm not sure.
Hopefully they do. Hopefully they find a way to bring him back because I'm still kind of curious as to how they're going to do Black Panther 2 without killing off T'Challa. I'm still kind of curious as to how they're going to do that.
They're bringing, and I always pronounce her name wrong, Shuri,
Mhm.
as the new Black Panther, which they touch on that in the comic books. That's one of the super hot spec books right now. Is Shuri as her first appearance as Black Panther, and the movie's driving that as well. And the spec of her, I guess they've already signed her for this. The idea of bringing her in that role, and the comic book, of course, covers are fantastic. That's driving that book through the absolute roof right now. And she was extremely intelligent, extremely pleasant-looking woman.
Yeah.
So I can see them pulling it off. And Marvel's moving toward a lot of strong female leads for their movies too. So it's kind of, they're able to take a bad situation and manipulate it to where it's going to be a positive thing.
I think it would be good if they do that, and they'll be able to have Black Widow and that back to back.
Yeah,
and I think that would help them a lot. Number 2, obviously, is Loki. Number 2.
Loki's fantastic.
Yeah, Loki's great.
And whether hero or villain or neutral, somewhere in the middle, he's a fantastic character.
Yeah, and of course, number 1 is Thanos.
Yeah, which I didn't. As many times as I've seen for Ragnarok, I didn't catch that as a Matt Damon cameo as Loki in it till just this week.
It took me, I think, twice.
Yeah.
To notice that that was Matt Damon.
Yeah, I had to read one of the links you sent me. I was reading one of the blurbs on it, whether Matt Damon would have another cameo in next door or not. This came in the first one. And I had to go back and look at it. It's like, and then after I saw it, I was like, well, duh.
it was when Thor comes back in the beginning of the movie when he was
definitely a duh moment for me.
Yeah. Yeah, that was because he was playing Loki. Yeah, Matt Damon.
So the drum roll was what? Thanos as number 1 though?
Thanos is number 1, of course. Loki was number 2. Killmonger was number 3 of the best villains. 4 was Agnes Harkness at number 4, which that really it's Hela needed to be number 4. Actually, in my opinion, Hela needed to be number 3. I like Michael B. Jordan, but the character of Hela, she was more
evil,
bad. Yeah,
badass,
more evil
more
and
determined.
yeah.
If any of the villains would have had, maybe except for Thanos, would have had her determination, they wouldn't have lost.
If Loki had been just in one movie, honestly would have slid her ahead of Loki. But where Loki was pretty much throughout the whole thing, he kind of trumps that. But
Yeah.
she was wickedly bad, wickedly bad.
Now, my favorite Loki scene is still when the Hulk thrashes him about inside the
Right,
tower up there.
right.
And you see that creates a lifelong memory for Loki.
What were now you've checked out the well, you sent me the link, but to this Optimus Prime here, this brand new Optimus Prime that's coming out. This Optimus Prime here, and what do you think about it?
I think it's awesome. I mean, for what it does, it's great. I don't know if I can spend the money for it or not. I mean, well, I know I couldn't spend the money for it. That's a definite no. But it's $700 for the toy. It better change itself. All right.
Yeah, I was looking for something there. Yeah, absolutely. I honestly, if I had $700 to blow,
I mean, I'd say more than one stimmy check's been spent on that.
I think it has something like 1,500 commands or something, and it's voiced by the original guy that voiced Optimus Prime in the cartoon.
He's made a long career of that, hasn't he? But yeah, it's a great toy. I can't wait till one actually rolls inside the store here in the next few years. I know when I had the Transformers growing up, I probably broke two or three Transformers just trying to get them to work right. So have one of the Transformer itself just seems like a fantastic idea. Have you seen those yet, Tim?
Not yet.
Have you seen the videos of them at all? They are amazing. I'm not sure what the actual size reference is on it, but I'm thinking it's probably about a foot tall. And you give it a voice command, and it automatically transforms in front of you.
Wow.
Completely robotic. Now, I haven't read up on it too much. I'm not sure whether it actually, robotics move forward or what it does. But it's got voice commands. It responds to voice commands, and it self-transforms.
Like Autobots transform and roll out. That would be so.
I would guarantee it does the Autobots transforms command on it.
That does sound awesome.
Yeah, according to the full thing spec sheet, I want to hear though. Real quick. Self-transforming. It's already there. That's fast. Pre-order for 700. The programmable advanced robot collector's edition is available to pre-order for 700.
700.
And yeah, it responds to voice commands like roll out, convert, and attack.
Holy cow.
That's going to be on my Christmas list, no doubt.
What you should do is you should get one for the store
and write off my taxes.
It's possible. And I guarantee you that eventually someone will buy it.
Oh, no doubt. I'd say coming around Christmas time, it's going to be sold out, and that $700 toy is going to be a $1,400 to $2,000 toy.
Because here's the thing: if people are paying $7, $8, $9, $1,000 for a PS5, they're going to pay, depending on who it is, $7, $8, $9,000 for an Optimus Prime.
Oh yeah.
And I heard you going over the functions of it, all that stuff, all those commands. The lights work. It transforms on its own, by the way. And that would just be awesome.
I've got parents coming here right now. They've dropped $150, $200 on the Titan series Transformers for the children.
Mm-hmm.
and they're pretty massive, and they're pretty impressive. And most of them are about a foot and a half to 2 foot tall. So I could definitely see them dropping $700 on one of those.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Let me pull this up here real quick. So I needed to make a Christmas list for this transformer here. I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna save $1 a day.
2 years.
Yeah, for 2 years. $1 a day for 2 years. There we go. There we go. So supposedly there's in the works for a Thundercats movie,
It is.
and this is by Adam B. Berry. I'm hoping that's his real name, not like a stage name, because that's kind of
Adam B. Gary.
Berry.
Adam B. Gary.
B. Berry. Like
B. Berry.
Adam B. Berry.
Is that the guy that's supposed to be directing it?
No, this is the guy that wrote the article.
Oh, okay.
Thundercats movie revived with Godzilla versus King Kong director Adam Wingard.
Mhm.
Godzilla vs. King Kong director Adam Wingard is attached to helm a computer animated adaptation of the beloved 1980s Rankin Bass animated series Thundercats for Warner Brothers. From a script, Wingard will write with frequent collaborator Simon Barrett from the movies You're Next and The Guest, Dan Lin of Right Back, and Roy Lee of Vertigo, who produced Wingard's film Death Note, were already attached to produce the film with a script by David Coggeshall when Wingard signed on, but Wingard and Barrett are starting fresh. Let me make sure this isn't loud or anything. Okay, that's not one. Let me make sure. Okay. Let's make sure that wasn't loud. So the original series, which aired from 1985 to 1989, was revived for a single season Cartoon Network in 2011, and then again in 2020 under the title Thundercats Roar. But as a feature film, Thundercats has been a tricky project to crack for the studio, which has hired a small parade of screenwriters and producers since at least 2007 to bring a movie to life. The underlying story is at once relatively simple. A team of humanoid cat people, or cat-like humans, like Lionel Panthro and Chitara, fight the evil wizard Mumra on the planet of Third Earth. Was there ever a second Earth? I don't remember that.
I'm not sure.
It's possible. Maybe second Earth was, I don't know.
Thundercats Roar.
It's possible. It's possible. Maybe they ruined second Earth and
And try again.
yeah, try again. They had to go and drop a bomb on Third Earth to create water and all that good stuff. So there's a word for that, and I watch a lot of History Channel, and I'm mad because I can't remember what that word is. But anyway, and surprisingly complicated with a mix of technical, space, sci-fi, and swords and sorcery fantasy. There's the mystical blade that holds the Eye of Thundera and the ancient sports of evil, and then antagonistic aliens like the mutants of Plundar and the Lunatics. In an interview with Deadline, which were first reported news, Wingard made it clear he is not interested in making a Cats-style live-action version of Thundercats.
Please no.
Please don't do that. And wants instead to take a CGI approach to the visuals that would embrace the 80s aesthetic of the original series. So that is a good thing because it could be more like Avatar.
I hope it's more like that. When I first heard about it, I thought it was live action. I was really excited. Then I heard it was going to be animated. I was a little less excited. But if they animate it like Avatar is animated, I'd be more game for that, I guess.
I mean, Avatar was cool.
Avatar was fantastic. It only took me 7 times in theater to decide whether I liked it or not. I just kept going back.
But here's the thing, though. Do you really want a Thundercats movie where people, I don't know, maybe they would look like Rebecca Romaine Stamos as Mystique?
I hope if they do it with mostly unknown actors.
Yes,
I
that
really
is
do.
always my favorite approach.
It's worked well for Star Wars for the most part, but you know, like I showed you before before we went on air about the trailer that was made in 2012 or so.
Right.
It's a fan made trailer of Thundercats, and it looks good. I mean, it has Vin Diesel. I'm not maybe one of the Riddick movies. You know, it's fan made trailer, so they've superimposed the characters over top of the actors, but basically it's Riddick. It's Vin Diesel as Panther. It's Brad Pitt as Lino. I don't remember what the dad's name was. I'd all saved my life.
You want the old man that wore the
Yeah.
I can't remember what his
It
name
had
was.
Hugh Jackman is one of the others, and the family trailer looks fantastic,
Mhm.
and it works for that. But I'm not sure if I want to watch that again. Or I mean, it's
Yeah, that's. I tell you, I'm big into casting relatively unknown people.
Mhm.
Like take Guardians of the Galaxy for example. I had no idea who Chris Pratt was. I didn't. What was it? Parks and Rec?
Yeah.
I never watched the show.
I knew Chris Pratt.
Yeah, I knew what it was. I just didn't know who he was. If I didn't follow wrestling, I wouldn't know who Dave Bautista was.
I didn't know who. True story. When I heard people discussing it was going to be Batista,
Mhm.
the only Batista name I've ever heard of is Batista, the guy that plays the character named Batista on um oh, shoot Dexter.
Dexter. Okay.
I thought that guy cannot be Drax. No way. I mean, I like his actor. That can't be Drax.
Right.
So I don't follow wrestling, so it really went way over my head. Turns out he's a fantastic character, right actor for the right part for that one exactly.
Yeah.
I can see Batista actually being Panther.
This is true. Yeah.
He has to go in the look, definitely.
I was thinking about this earlier, and I was thinking about for Wile E. Kit and Wile E. Cat, as far as the voice goes, I was thinking about Anna Kendrick, I think that's her name.
I think
For the voice anyway. She's done a lot of cartoons.
Yeah.
She's done Trolls and a couple other things, and she has that younger teen type voice, even though she's a grown woman. But she has that younger voice. But the rest of them, I'm with you. I mean, if they use little to unknown, because when you put somebody like Channing Tatum, how they did G.I. Joe, you kind of like, when you do that, it turns people away.
Or if you put Vin Diesel as Bloodshot, it's still they should just name the movie Vin Diesel. Because that's what you're getting. You're getting that character. You're getting the character that actor has always portrayed. Unless you're using an actor that's got a really huge range. I mean, if you use like a Tom Hanks actor of that caliber, you know, he has a huge range. He do about anything he wants to do. But you have certain actors that they've done action adventure their whole career. When they try to branch out of that, it doesn't go well for them.
No,
You know, I don't want to see. I don't. If I'm going to go see this, I want to see someone that I've never seen before, putting something new and fresh to it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, because
unless of course Jessica Alba's in it, I'll pay anything to see Jessica Alba.
I think she's retired. I really think she's retired, but hopefully that Thundercats movie.
Denise Richards. I'm waiting for Wild Things 4 to come out. Wild Things of Cougar Years.
Oh, that's bad. that is bad. Wild Things.
You'd watch it, wouldn't you?
Oh, that's bad. The sequel to Wild Things is on the level of all the in between American Pie movies.
Really?
It's on that level. Yeah, it's no or the or the sequel. I think there's a sequel to what was the movie with Ryan Phillippe, Reese Witherspoon, and
Actually, I love that movie. I can't think of the name.
and Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Yeah.
Cruel Intentions.
Yes.
There's a sequel to that.
Yeah, it's pretty bad too.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm good. I
I've watched
think.
it.
Yeah, you should be ashamed of yourself that you even
I'm
watched it
not.
to begin with. Ashamed of yourself. Well, I'll tell you what we can do next time. We'll go and we're still trying to get something on the way.
Mhm.
So we'll come up with something.
Did anybody win the last two things we tried to give away?
We couldn't get anybody to
that's
follow through. So we'll come up with something next time, and we'll think about something in the next couple of weeks. And
Maybe if we encourage them to share this.
yeah. Matter of fact, here I don't know if I still have
Whoever
that.
shares it the most,
Yeah.
gets one of the things from last week, or whoever shares it most gets a gift card to the store or something.
Yeah, if you share this post, whoever shares the post, and give us a like and share, and if you share it, we'll enter you in for a gift card down here to the Nitro Antique Mall. So we'll get you taken care of, and we'll get something that you like. Lots of cool things down here, and like I said before, they've got everything down here from comics to toys to skeletons, GI Joes. I mean, they've got T-shirts and records and clocks and old school lunch boxes and things that you probably hadn't seen in a long time. Things that you forgot existed are here. Things you didn't know existed are here. Yeah. So come on down, check them out, and we're gonna try to give something away to everybody and get people involved and have some fun with people. So, but we'll try to land something again here in a couple weeks, and we'll come up with something to give away. So I'm gonna hit the little made a little outro video. I think you might appreciate it. I put a lot of effort into this, and we'll see you guys here in a couple weeks. Here you go.